My name is Marina Caldwell. I'm 29 years old. And 3 weeks before my wedding, I watched my future collapse through a slideshow on Instagram. It was a Friday night, one of those quiet, unremarkable nights that usually feels like proof your life is stable. I had my hair in a messy bun, sweatpants that had given up on being flattering years ago, and a controller in my hands. My fiancé, Ethan Cole, was in Las Vegas for his bachelor party. His groomsmen had planned the whole thing, matching shirts, stupid drinking games, whatever men do when they want to pretend they're still 22. He'd kissed me goodbye that morning, promised to stay out of trouble, and told me he'd FaceTime me when he got back to the hotel. I believed him, because for 3 years, Ethan was the man who made promises feel safe, the man who'd remember my coffee order without asking, the man who proposed after a hike, sweaty and grinning like he couldn't hold the secret in his pocket anymore. Our wedding was paid for. Venue, photographer, caterer, deposits stacked like dominoes waiting for the big day to knock them into joy. Guests had flights booked. Families had coordinated outfits. My mom had cried over the invitations like they were a graduation. So there I was, trying to beat a boss level, while my friend Jordan roasted me from my couch. "You're getting married in 3 weeks," he said, watching my character get demolished for the 5th time. "This is your last chance to be humbled by pixels." I laughed, even though my chest was tight with that familiar pre-wedding anxiety. The kind you tell yourself is normal. The kind that whispers, "Don't ruin this with unnecessary fear." Then my phone lit up. A message request. From Tessa, Jordan's girlfriend. "Tessa, Marina, check Instagram. Like, right now." My stomach did something sharp and animal. The controller felt heavier. Jordan saw my face change. "What?" he asked, leaning forward. "What is it?" I didn't answer. My thumb was already moving, opening the app. And then, there it was. A story post, a slideshow. Posted by Sierra Lane, Ethan's ex-girlfriend. I hadn't said her name out loud in over a year. Not because I was scared of her, because she wasn't supposed to matter anymore. She was the before. The chapter he claimed he regretted. The person he told me was blocked everywhere. But she wasn't blocked. Because she was right there, and she was smiling. The first photo, Ethan at a club, neon lights slicing across his face. Sierra pressed against him like she still belonged there. His arm wasn't pushing her away. The second photo, them kissing. Not a quick accidental peck. Not a blurry, caught-in-motion moment. A real kiss, the kind you choose. The third photo, them walking out together, her hand curled around his wrist like she owned the next step. The fourth, a selfie in what looked like a hotel elevator. Ethan's grin was crooked. Sierra's lipstick was smudged like she'd just won something. The caption burned through me. "Vegas nights, just kiss my ex. Some things never change." And then, tagged beneath it like a signature on a crime scene, Ethan Cole. I stared at it so long my eyes started to ache. Like if I stared hard enough, the pixels would rearrange into a different reality. Jordan whispered, "No way." I scrolled down to the comments because apparently my brain needed proof in multiple formats to accept pain. A groomsman, Derek, Ethan's best man, commented, "Derek, Sierra, take this down, now." Someone else, "Isn't he literally engaged?" Another, "This is insane." And Sierra replied, casual like she was talking about a cocktail menu, "Sierra, just vibing with my guy." My hands went cold. 12 minutes ago. That detail mattered because it meant this wasn't some old memory dragged out to haunt us. This was happening while I was sitting in my apartment wearing his hoodie, believing in the future. I did not cry. That surprised me. Instead, something in me went eerily still, the way a room feels right before a storm hits. I screenshot everything. The photos, the caption, the comments, the timestamp. Then I opened the wedding group chat. Ethan and Marina. Wedding weekend. 178 people. Family, friends, co-workers, bridesmaids, groomsmen, aunties who typed in all caps. My grandmother who used voice notes like she was running a podcast. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Jordan said softly, "Marina, maybe call him first." I looked at the screenshots again. At Ethan's mouth on her mouth. At his grin in that elevator mirror. At Sierra's caption like she was daring me to swallow it. I typed, "Hey everyone, I just found this on Instagram. The wedding is canceled. Screenshots attached so nobody wastes money on flights/hotels." Then I hit send. And I turned my phone off. Jordan stared at me like he'd just watched someone light a match in a room full of gasoline. He started. "I know," I said, voice too calm. "My phone's going to explode." We went back to the game. Not because I cared about winning, because I needed my hands to do something other than shake, because if I sat in silence, I would start hearing my own heartbeat like a countdown. An hour later, I turned my phone back on. 312 notifications. The group chat looked like a riot. My mom, Marina, is this real? Ethan's mom, Linda. These photos are obviously edited. Everyone please stop spreading lies. Ethan's dad, Robert. Someone explain what's going on right now. My cousin. Yo, I'm canceling my hotel, TF. A random aunt. I always knew Vegas was a sin city. And then, one message that made my throat tighten. Derek. Marina, I swear none of us knew he met her. He said he felt sick and went to bed. Please don't do anything rash. So, his friends were clueless. Or they were covering. Either way, Ethan was alone with Sierra long enough for multiple photos, multiple kisses, and an elevator selfie. Then my screen filled with his calls. Ethan calling. Decline. Again, again, again. Text poured in like panic trying to rewrite time. Ethan. Marina, those are old pics. Ethan. Sierra is unhinged. She's lying. Ethan. Babe, please pick up. Ethan. It's not what you think. Ethan. Why would you send that to everyone? You're destroying my life. That one made me laugh. Not a happy laugh. A short, sharp sound like my body couldn't find any other way to release disbelief. Destroying his life. As if his life hadn't just been filmed actively destroying mine. By morning, the group chat had lost nearly half its members. People slipped out quietly, canceling flights, refunding hotels, stepping away from the wreckage like it might stain them. Linda tried again, posting a long paragraph about how Sierra was obsessed, how Ethan was the victim, how the internet lies. Someone replied, "The iPhone model in Ethan's hand literally came out this year." Linda deleted her message. That was when I knew this wasn't going to be a simple breakup. This was going to be war disguised as misunderstanding. At 8:03 a.m. Saturday, the buzzer rang. I looked through the peephole. Ethan stood there with his hair messy, eyes red, wearing the same stupid matching bachelor party tank top like it could still mean celebration instead of betrayal. When I opened the door, he exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for 2,000 miles. "Marina," he said, voice cracking, "please, let me explain." I stepped back and let him in, not because I wanted him close, but because I wanted the truth where I could see it. He took one look at my face and started talking fast, like speed could outrun consequences. I ran into Sierra randomly. I swear, I didn't plan it. The guys were asleep. "Stop," I said. He froze. I held up my phone, screenshots open like a blade. "Explain this," I said quietly. "Explain how you accidentally kissed your ex in 4 different angles." His mouth opened, closed. His eyes flicked away, just for a second. And in that second, my stomach dropped even further, because I recognized that look. Not confusion, not innocence, calculation. Ethan swallowed. I was drunk. "And you're telling me," I said, voice low, "that drunk makes you forget you're engaged?" He stepped toward me, hands out like he was approaching a frightened animal. It meant nothing, I swear. It was Vegas, stupid, a mistake. I nodded slowly like I was listening. Then I said, "Cool." He blinked, hopeful. "And canceling the wedding," I continued, "should mean nothing too." His face snapped into panic. "You can't cancel over one slip-up." I tilted my head. I didn't cancel it. I just told everyone why it wasn't happening. His expression shifted, tears to anger so fast it was like watching a mask change. "You shamed me," he hissed. "My boss saw that. My family. My grandfather." "Sierra posted it publicly," I said. "I shared it privately with the people spending money to celebrate us. That's called basic decency." He shook his head hard. "You always blow things out of proportion." I stared at him, quietly. Because the most dangerous thing in the world is a person who tells you you're too much when you finally react appropriately. "When have I ever done that?" I asked. He opened his mouth, and for the first time since this started, he had nothing. And then, soft as a knife sliding free, I asked the only question that mattered. "Did you sleep with her, Ethan?" His silence wasn't immediate. It lagged by half a breath. But that half a breath told me everything. My chest didn't break in one dramatic moment. It cracked slowly, like ice under steady pressure. And I realized this wasn't about the photos. It was about the fact that even now, standing in my living room, he was still deciding what version of the truth would cost him the least. I took one step back and said, "Get out." His eyes widened. "This is my place too." I looked at him, calm enough to terrify myself. "No," I said, "it's not." And behind my ribs, something whispered, "He's not done. Not even close." Ethan didn't leave quietly. He paced my living room like the walls owed him something. Hands raking through his hair, voice rising and falling between apology and accusation. "You're really doing this?" he said. "After everything we built?" I leaned against the kitchen counter, arms folded, watching him unravel. It struck me then how practiced he was at framing himself as the wounded party. Like betrayal was something that happened to him, not something he actively participated in. "What we built?" I asked. "You mean the wedding you set on fire in Vegas?" He flinched. "It was one night." "One night," I echoed, tasting the words. "And every lie you told after." His phone buzzed. He glanced down, then turned the screen away from me like a reflex. That was all I needed to see. "Get your things," I said. He stared. "You're serious." "I've never been more serious about anything." He scoffed, anger finally winning. "Fine, but don't act like this is all on me. You could have talked to me before humiliating me in front of everyone." I met his eyes. "You were busy kissing your ex." That shut him up. He packed a duffel bag with theatrical fury, yanking drawers open, slamming zippers, muttering about how unfair this was. When he reached the door, he turned back like he expected me to crumble. "You're going to regret this," he said. I didn't reply. The door closed. The apartment went quiet. And then my phone rang. Linda. Ethan's mother. I answered because part of me still believed adults would act like adults. "Marina," she began, voice tight but sweetened with concern, "this situation has gotten completely out of hand." "That's one way to put it," I said. She sighed. "Ethan is devastated. He made a mistake, yes, but mistakes don't deserve public execution." "Posting public photos isn't execution," I said. "It's documentation. You didn't have to share it. I didn't have to lie for him either." There was a pause, long enough for her to regroup. "Let's be practical," she said. "The wedding costs are significant. Emotions aside, it wouldn't be fair for Ethan to shoulder everything alone." My jaw tightened. Why would I pay for a wedding I didn't ruin? "You made it public." "Your son out with his ex publicly." Another pause, shorter this time. "Robert and I think," she said carefully, "that splitting the cancellation fees would be reasonable." I laughed. I couldn't help it. "Linda," I said, "your son cheated. The wedding is off. The costs belong to him." Her voice cooled. "I hope you understand this will have consequences." "I do," I said, "and I'm ready." She hung up. That night, I slept like someone who'd been holding their breath for years. The next morning, I woke to my neighbor knocking on my door. "Hey," he said awkwardly, "your car." My stomach dropped. Deep scratches carved across the hood. 4 letters gouged into the paint like a tantrum made physical. "Liar." Building security pulled footage within the hour. The timestamp read 3:07 a.m. The camera caught a familiar figure, hair pulled back, hoodie up, keys clenched tight, dragging metal across my car with wild, angry precision. Ethan. I filed a police report before noon. That was when the tone changed. Calls started coming in. Not apologies, not concern, but negotiations. Robert called next. "Marina," he said, voice heavy, "let's be adults. This has gone far enough." "You should tell your son that," I replied. "The wedding costs are $73,000, he continued. "Deposits alone are brutal. We're asking you to contribute your fair share." "My fair share of what?" I asked. "Infidelity?" "You escalated this." "No," I said evenly. "I exposed it." He exhaled sharply. "We're considering legal options." I smiled, though he couldn't see it. "For sharing public Instagram posts?" Silence, then colder. "You'll hear from our lawyer." The letter arrived Monday. It was embarrassing. A demand for half the wedding costs, plus damages for intentional infliction of emotional distress. I forwarded it to my friend Nina, who'd survived law school on caffeine and spite. She called me 10 minutes later, laughing so hard she had to catch her breath. "This is garbage," she said. "No competent litigator would file this." "Then who did?" I asked. She read the name again. Some property lawyer, probably a family friend. Figures. But Ethan wasn't done. That afternoon, his face popped up on my feed. A video. Title: "My Toxic Ex Ruined My Life." I watched, stunned, as he looked into the camera with glassy eyes and perfect lighting. He talked about betrayal, about being ambushed, about how I canceled our wedding without even talking to him. The comments flooded in with sympathy. At first. Then someone tagged Sierra's original post. Another person pointed out the timestamp. Someone else zoomed in on the necklace around his neck, the one I'd given him last month, engraved with our wedding date. The tide turned fast. Screenshots spread. Receipts surfaced. A bar receipt from Vegas dropped into the comments with the date circled in red. Ethan deleted the video. Too late. By evening, my phone buzzed again. A message from Derek. "Marina, I'm really sorry. He's spiraling. This is getting bad." I stared at the screen, heart pounding, not with fear, but with a sinking certainty. This wasn't over. Not yet. Because people who refuse accountability don't stop when they're caught. They escalate. And I had a feeling Ethan was just getting started. By Tuesday morning, my name was floating around the internet like a character in someone else's cautionary tale. Ethan's deleted video had already been screen recorded. People stitched it, annotated it, slowed it down, frame by frame, like amateur detectives. Every claim he made unraveled in real time. And that should have been the end of it. But people who believe they're the victim of a story they wrote themselves don't stop when the plot disproves them. They double down. The next letter came from a different lawyer. This one had a proper letterhead, real formatting, less unhinged punctuation. They demanded $50,000, half the wedding costs, plus damages for emotional distress, reputational harm, and future earnings impacted by public humiliation. I sat at my kitchen table reading it twice, then called Nina again. She read it quietly this time. "This one's real," she said. "Shady, but real. Contingency guy. He's hoping you panic." "I'm not panicking," I said. "Good," she replied, "because now we counter." Within 48 hours, my attorney sent back a packet thick enough to bruise someone if thrown hard enough. Police report, security footage screenshots, repair estimates for my car, $8,500, archived screenshots of Ethan's defamatory posts, a formal demand that he cease harassment. His lawyer folded fast, but Ethan didn't, because legal consequences don't scare people who think drama is a survival skill. That's when he tried something new. My employer. I got a call from HR on Thursday afternoon. "Marina," the woman said carefully, "we received a concerning message." My stomach tightened. Concerning how? "A man claiming to be your former fiancé says you're harassing him and creating a hostile environment at work." I blinked. "He doesn't work here." There was a pause. Papers shuffled. "Yes," she said slowly. "That's what confused us." Apparently, Ethan had emailed them claiming I was using company resources to stalk him. "How?" HR asked him. "He's probably talking about me," he replied. They closed the case in under 10 minutes. Next stop, my gym. The manager pulled me aside awkwardly. "Hey," he said, rubbing the back of his neck. "Your ex says you've been stalking him here." I stared. "He's not a member." "We know," he said. "He showed up yesterday yelling about you controlling his wellness journey. We escorted him out." I laughed then, hard, hysterical, the kind that surprises even you. That night, Lena, one of Ethan's groomsmen's wives, messaged me. "I'm sorry to reach out, but he's not okay. He thinks Sierra will take him back. He wants to move the wedding to her." I read it twice. Move the wedding. Like it was a table reservation. Apparently, he'd asked vendors if they'd transfer contracts into Sierra's name. They all said no. He told people I'd conspired with them. The logic was gone. And then, like the universe had been waiting for the exact right moment, Sierra posted again. An Instagram story. Text on a black screen. "For those asking, I am not getting back with Ethan. It was a Vegas fling. I'm engaged. My fiancé thinks this whole thing is hilarious." Tagged beneath it was a man I'd never seen before, and his comment. Gave him a pass, knowing she'd blow up her own relationship. Worth the drama. That was the match. Ethan went nuclear. 20 Instagram stories in one night, each more unhinged than the last. He blamed everyone. Miss Sierra, her fiancé, his parents, the wedding vendors, my lawyer, the apartment complex for illegally evicting him. He'd never been on the lease. His mother called me at midnight. "Marina, please," Linda whispered. "He's spiraling. Can't you forgive him? He made one mistake." "One mistake was kissing his ex," I said. "Everything after that was a choice." She cried. "Our families were perfect together." "Were they?" I asked gently. "Because your husband threatened me with a fake lawsuit." Silence. "I told him not to," she said. "But he did," I replied. "And now we're here." She hung up. 2 months passed. The fallout settled like dust after an explosion. Ethan moved back in with his parents. Tried to become an influencer for men healing from toxic breakups. He had 612 followers, most of whom asked if he was the Vegas guy. Vendors blacklisted him after false reviews and accusations. His parents tried small claims court. The judge looked at the paperwork, looked at them, and said, "You want her to pay for a wedding canceled because your son cheated?" Case dismissed. My car was fixed. His insurance premium skyrocketed. And me? I went hiking. That's where I met Caleb. No drama, no grand gestures. Just someone who listened, who laughed when I told him the story, who joked, "I promise not to kiss my ex in Vegas." Last week, Ethan emailed me. Subject line, healing. 30,000 words about how I ruined his life, his reputation, his family's finances, how I turned everyone against him. It ended with, "I hope you're happy." I replied, I am. He wrote back. That's it? Yep. He sent 12 more emails. I marked them as spam. The last time I saw him, he showed up with a box of my things, random items, including a blender I've never owned. This is yours, he said. There's a Walmart tag from yesterday, I replied, and I'm allergic to smoothies. He stared. Then he left. The venue rebooked our date for a corporate event and made more money than our wedding would have brought in. The planner sent me a thank you note. My grandmother's response in the family group chat still lives rent-free in my head. Good riddance to garbage. And no, I don't regret sending the screenshots. I saved everyone time, money, and a lifetime of explaining away red flags. If there's a lesson here, it's simple. Don't cheat. And definitely don't cheat with someone petty enough to post it online.